So today I'm going to compare two 70mm. One is going to be a modern and the other one is going to be vintage, and then two 50mm, which one is a 50 and the other one is 58. That probably you know that the 58 is the vintage and you know which lens is it. Well, you have to excuse myself because the title and the thumbnail was a little bit clickbaity. Why? Because it's a tricky job comparing a new modern lens versus a vintage lens. Why? Because they are different kind of animal. They all do the job and they all going to make the shot and give you the shot depending on the focal length that you choose, right? But then the look is going to be different. Obviously in post-process, like for example in the DaVinci Resolve, you can get this look like you want, but the base is important because next week I have a gig where we have to reproduce like an interview set. In this interview set, I'm just planning two of the shots, and then the rest of the shots they are planned already. Two of the shots are going to be, one is going to be a close-up, this part of the face, and the other one is going to be like this talking head shot. So for one, I'm planning to use the 70mm, and then for the other one, I'm planning to use the 50mm. So I want to choose which 50 and which 70 I'm going to use for this shot. And you take a coffee, or take a tea, or take a beer, or take whatever you like, and let's go to see which one is better. Oh boy, that's going to be complicated. Why? Because let me tell you something. I always come back to the Helios. What I mean by that, I don't know, the colors, they just look so natural. They just look, they don't look saturated so much, but they don't look like washed out, like, cold. They just perfect for me. Then the lens is not so sharp when you're in f2, like this case. Now it's not so sharp. And now let me tell you something, the focus is so complicated. I have to look the screen all the time to make sure that we have the eyes in focus. But when you step up, when you go for example in f4, f8, this lens, let me tell you something, it's getting probably more sharp than some of the modern lenses that I have, and that's amazing for the old lens. Keeping the same colors and the same contrast, because when you get this lens and now in f2, it's just crazy. When you get nearby any source of light, the contrast has disappeared, and that's a shame. But well, that's a part of the character and it's a part of the vintage experience, the vintage lens experience. What we do is that we don't do a shot against the light. If we want to do this kind of stuff, and we want to see a contrast in our image, we use a modern lens, okay? Some cases not. Some cases you want to see the flaring. The flaring here is amazing, just amazing. I love it. And I'm not going to talk about the bokeh of this lens because we all know, and it's a bokeh king, right? That's the bokeh king that we have here. But again, if you step down, when you go on f4, for example, the image is getting amazing, and then you fix a little bit the contrast issue. Now, let's go to see how this very old Soviet lens is going to perform against, I'm in focus now, how it's going to perform against this beautiful piece of glass, which, let me see, that we can get as well this in focus. There we go. The 50mm 1.8 Panasonic. Let's see how this guy is going to perform against that guy that we have here. Okay, so now we get to the 50mm range. What we have now in the camera is the Panasonic Lumix S 50mm. in 1.8, which, well, let me tell you, that's amazing lens, and it's sharp. It's a beautiful bokeh, which is a creamy, beautiful bokeh in the back, and it's a small lens that I'm sure that is going to be perfect with the camera because it's made for this kind of systems. And comparing this lens for the small, 58mm Helios f2, it's a little bit tricky word, but don't judge the book by the cover, right? Because this little guy probably is going to surprise not just me, but everyone watching this video. So yeah, let's give us a try and let's give us a chance and let's see what kind of, a quality, optical quality is going to give us. Like I said, that's the Panasonic Lumix S 1.8 50mm. Now we are outside and we are testing the 50mm 1.8 S Panasonic lens, and we are set the white balance of daylight. Again, the 50mm 1.8. So now we are testing the Helios 58 f2 in the condition of daylight. Obviously it's going to be a less contrasty like the 50mm 1.8 from Panasonic, and that's something that we can expect, right? But what we are testing, if you remember what I said in the beginning, is that we're just testing the feel and the look of the image. And let me tell you something, I know that the Helios is going to offer us a beautiful image and a beautiful bokeh in the back, and it's going to be neutral. Means that it's not going to get so red in the white balance that obviously we use the same white balance across all the lenses, and it's going to get a neutral colors that are going to be very easy to work in post-production after that. But then it's going to get this beautiful bokeh here, you see, and it's going to be a slightly sharp in my face if I nail the focus. Again, if we have someone pulling the focus for us, probably it's got to be more easy. But in this case, we have to work with what we have. So now we are testing the 28 to 70 Sigma. In this case, we are testing the 70mm, and it's in 2.8. Now, we know that the image is going to be sharp. We know that the image is not going to be, with losing contrast or some problems that the vintage lens that they can have, and as well it's a Sigma lens, so we know that all these stuff are going to be figured out for us. But what we want to see is the overall look. We want to see the bokeh in the back, we want to see how my faces look in the daylight, and we want to see all these small details that are important for the end look. And this Minolta 35 to 70 in 70mm of focal range that we choose now. 3.5, which is a minimum that we are using here. So obviously here we cannot compare the bokeh from the Sigma 70 because it was a 2.8 and here is a 3.5. But again, we are comparing the overall look. We know that Minolta have a beautiful colors, and we see that these beautiful colors are staying against the Sigma colors. So now that we are inside again, what do you think? Let me know down in the comment which of those lenses is your favorite lens. Next week I'm going to reveal which set of lenses I'm going to use for the work. Hopefully you enjoy this kind of comparison, which was not very technical, but was more than a feel and look that we're looking for some specific work, and I encourage you to think about the lenses in the same way. And I hope so that you enjoyed it, and we see you very soon.